Welcome everyone to our session that will scan what's new with the EMEA release, both Primo and Primo V. We have so many highlights to share with you, so let's start. We are going to share with you a new widget under the search bar. We call it a resource type filters bar, where you can have a ribbon under the search bar of resource type that you are select. I will share more details and do a demo for that. Another thing to highlight is the nurse enhancement that is all about improving the workflow and the experience of user upon session timeout before and when, and what are the configurations that are available for user and for the library to provide the user a better experience. In addition, in Primo VE, we are also providing a more option and flexibility to define the mapping of a system resource type. So far, we allowed for local resource type customization, and now we are opening also the mapping for system resource type. I will try to explain the approach and give an example how this can be achieved. We are also excited to deliver the NERS that is also relevant for Primo VE. This is about more option in the advanced search, introducing the new operator equal exact phrase. And additional improvement in the My Library card option to view more finds, not only the active finds, and for the user to filter by the find status, and of course, more notable item that I will share. Okay, as always, I'm sharing this table. You can find it what is actually common for both Primo and Primo VE, which is the resource type filter bar, this nerves about the user session timeout, and improvement for CDI searches. While you are doing citation searches, we are using AI to build a smart query, a better query for better matching. And I'd like also to update accessibility and updates, documents, and some improvement of that. In the Primo VE, as I mentioned, new operator to the advanced search, more flexibility to set up, to define a system resource type, changes to My Library card. In Primo VE, there are customers that are interested in having API for the analytics report. This is already existing in the Primo backoffice, now available as well in Primo VE. And we also do some kind of brief explanation about improving the management of resource recommender for those customers that are using, having a mass use of the resource recommender. We improve the usability over there. Okay. Before we are beginning with each of one of the highlights, let's just put you on the timeline. You are about to get the release on this upcoming Sunday. So you will be able in April 23 to get a release on your sandbox for your testing. For Primo customer, the release will be in production for the multi-tenant production on May 7, or if you are a local Primo customer, it will be available on May 21. For Primo VE customer, you will find the release on the sandbox this Sunday, and on May 7, which your production. Okay, let's start. Okay, so we'll start with this new widget that we are introducing. We call it resource type filters bar. As you can see, you have an option, if you choose to enable this feature, to show for your user the most common resource type underneath the search bar. We decided we are having a place to define up to 10, let you define up to 10 resource type. You can see here 6 resource type, and additional more can be under this more drop down that in a minute I will show you in a demo. So you can choose among your resource type. It could be either system resource type or local resource type, which will be the one to show and highlight for the user. You can use it for your users as the main resource type. It does not contradict to the facet resource type. It can be used, facet resource type can be used as a secondary resource type, or if a user adjusts to the facet resource type, it's okay. It's not coming to replace it. As I said, it could be as a main resource type filters, and the other one, the facet, could be as a secondary. So you can consider whether to enable or not. We choose to introduce such a resource type filters, but because we understand that user are also searching in other commercial search engine, like the experience in Google, and they adjust to filter just down below the search bar. So we'd like to give a similar discovery experience for users. So if you think it's suitable for your institution, you are welcome to enable that. And another thing before the demo that I would like to highlight is the list of the resource type display here in the report can be customized also per the search scope. So for each resource type that you define to enable, you can choose whether it's suitable to be under which search scope. As I mentioned, this is coming in my both Primo and Primo VE. And just a few more comments before going into the demo. It's important to note that this resource type, the list of resource type here are not dynamic. Once you define it or predefine it, it will stay. Even if you search something and the search results does not include resource type images, will still show this button. It's not a dynamic per the results. It will be available as you already defined it. This is one comment. As you can share, or as you can see also, for each resource type, we choose to have in the UX design an icon. I think that we are delivering 20 icons. For the most common one, if you have a local resource type and you want to have your own, there is an option to customize or even to replace an existing icon. I put here, and we will have in a release note an instruction how to do that. So mainly you need to identify which is the name of the icon ID. And then you can go ahead and provide your own SVG. SVG is a file that the icon currently is being given. And then you can replace and customize the icon per your need and flavor. One more thing, we do provide previously in the feature that we call search pre-filters. I put here in image. So there are sites that are using this pre-filter, which is like a mini advanced search underneath the search bar. I just want to emphasize, you can use either the new resource type filters or this one. We are not supporting both of them. So there is no option to enable both the pre-filters and the resource type filters, but you can choose to have one available on one enabled. And last, before the demo, we are providing usage on the clicks for each resource type. Currently, we are delivering it per the location. That means if someone is clicking on articles in the usage, it will be click on button like number 2 or 3. I don't call it if this is 1, 2, 3, but it's now going to be numeric by the location. I know it's not an ideal. It's currently limited to the way that we are working, but I just want to mention this is currently the what we are delivering. We also have a proof of concept, and we are checking option to have it dynamic. We are checking the option to do that, and if these checks succeed and build another subject area which allow more dynamic values, so we will also change the usage to be more friendly to you. Okay, having said that, I want to go and demo. What you can see here is that I've defined this resource type. This resource type, I can go ahead and search for now for the article. If this is already selected and I'm changing and it's changing my searches, it still remain sticky and still remain that if I don't like it, I can go ahead into the all. As I mentioned, there are places for more under under the more. And as you can see here, I put the books, article, journal, and assign it to scope everything. If I'm switching the scope and I decide that article is not matched for the digital repository, I can make the article not appear in the digital repository. As I said, it's flexible per the scope. So you can see I switch to the digital repository and the resource type article does not appear over there. So you have the flexibility to define it as well there. Okay, let's go back to the next item. Okay, next is the next announcement, also appear in the idea, about improving the user session timeout experience. What we are going to provide you, a list of parameters and settings to help you better define for your user what happens when a session is timeout. So you will be able to toggle a configuration to let the user the ability to extend the session for either for next session or to extend session to maximum. Maximum is 7 days. So if you choose to enable that and user is lucky to see the screen just 60 seconds before the session is being timeout, if so, the user will be seeing such a screen, this as you can see here. Your session is about to timeout, and they will have the option whether to yes, keep me signed in, or no, to be signed out. And based on your setting, your target, the options that you will choose, the option keep me signed in can be either extend for another session or to the maximum. Now the maximum is being defined in Primo to have to be last for a week, 7 days, and so that means that user won't be notified to extend the session in the next 7 days. And I have to put here also a disclaimer. All of this timeout session policy, whether what is this period, session period, is also subject to your remote authentication system. So even if we say the extended to maximum and in Primo it's 7 days, if your remote authentication system session period is 3 days, of course the session will be timed out after 3 days. So the maximum is subject to the policy of your remote session. Anyhow, this one workflow is I'm session. I'm working on Primo. I go ahead and didn't work on the screen. 60 seconds before, I've been notified with an option to keep me signed in. If I'm not lucky to get that message, I will be notified to have with this yellow message, your session is timeout. And we added a label to educate the user. They can know that next time when session is elapsed, next time they can, when they log in next time to Primo, they can go into the personal setting and choose to automatically extend the session. So they can go into a personal setting, and you can see here that we've added a new toggle. It's called automatically extend my session. So if user choose to enable that, and what will happen is the next time they log into Primo, the session will be extended to the maximum. Or the session will be extended to the maximum or to the next session, so they won't be get timeout so early in that often. So all of that all together, all of those options should cover what happened to the user before the session had elapsed, after the session had elapsed, and what are the options for the user to minimize this session timeout impact. Okay. Next, enhancement also NERS in Primo VE, where we are giving the library option to better map not only local resource type, but also system resource type, because so far we allowed to library to have their own local resource type, and we provided the out-of-the-box system resource type. Now, checking the nest, talking to the customer, looking also in your comments in the idea, we understand that there is a need to also impact the mapping of a system resource type. And in the next 2 slides, I'd like to better explain how to approach that. And we'll do that using the example. So let's say that you're a library and you would like to change the mapping of the existing resource type conference proceeding. Now, in order to be familiar with the mapping on conference proceeding, you first need to go ahead and check the documentation and understand what exactly the out-of-the-box system, what the out-of-the-box mapping that Excalibur is providing for this. And you will find it here, you won't find it available through the Alma administration page. It will be available here in the documentation. So you can see here that for conference proceeding, the mapping is, we are checking the mapping based on this 88008 field and expect to have this value over there. If we found a match to that kind of rule, then we determine that this resource is considered to be a conference proceeding. Now, the concept here is to really be familiar with the system resource type mapping. For instance, you can see, like for web resources, that this is a condition. If you want to change the mapping, you need to think whether you want to break these rules into parts, or make this rule, you consider like this rule should be reassigned to other resource types. So you will have the ability to reassign, or to not to edit that existing mapping, but to take the part that you think that is not connected, is not associated, and map it and assign it to other system resource type or to a local resource type. Knowing that the way that it will work, the system will run for your custom rules prior to the out-of-the-box system rules. So this is like the concept how you should approach. So let's get back into our example. As I mentioned, you are learning now that conference proceeding mapping is relying on that field. And now what you would like to do is you would like to add additional mapping to that existing one. And the additional mapping should be checking that the local field 999 should have this string on conference proceeding. You would like to have this mapping if 999 if you have this string exist, then this record should be mapped as a conference reading. So this is what we're going to provide you. You can change this out of the box, but you can add an additional mapping, and we are going to provide you with a configuration, resource type configuration. So far, you would familiar with this local resource type, and now we've added this tab of system resource type. So you need to go into the system resource type, select the conference proceeding, because you now want to add a new mapping to that system resource type. And you will go and add a condition with that conference proceeding. And the condition will be check for a 999 field and check for the value conference proceeding. So altogether, we have this custom rule being added, and we have the O2B custom rule. As I mentioned, there you can see here the preference order. When Primo VE, when we are as a system about to determine for a record what is going to be the resource type, we will first run all of the local the mapping that you are defining for local resource type. And after that, if a match was not found, we will go ahead and run through the mapping that you are defining this new mapping now, the custom system resource type. And only after we don't find match over there, we are going to run the out-of-the-box system type mapping. And this is the way the mechanism is work. This is why I explain better learn the way we are mapping out of the box. Check the mapping and see whether you would like to add additional one or you want to break the mapping and assign some content to another system resource type. And altogether, know that the way that it works is like having everything by that order. Okay, so I hope that I try to explain how it's work. I think that when you start playing with that, it will be more clear. I want to emphasize that in EMEA we are releasing that, but we also have two more improvements coming in June release. You can see here, in June release, we are going to also add this checkbox, which is mean replace existing rules. That means that you can tell us if this is being checked, not to run the OTB system resource type for conference proceeding. That means you are actually overriding our rules and you can define your own rules over there. This is one option that we are giving you in June release. Another option that will come in June release will be that you can also better organize the order of this custom system resource type. You can check, you can have the flexibility to define which rule will run first. So this is about how the customization of the mapping of system resource type will work. I'd like to mention that as part of the NERC announcement, we also committed and now we are delivering the ability to increase the number of local resource type. So you can now have, instead of 20, 50 resource type, local resource type defined. Okay, so this was about more flexibility to system resource type. Next, this is something that we really are glad to deliver. I know the community was waiting for that. It's actually NAS from 2021. It was a delay a bit because it was a much more complex. And now we are introducing a new equal as an exact phrase. You can use now, you can choose to enable and have in the advanced search this new operator, equal and exact phrase. And I think that once you introduce it, the expectation of the user will be that once they are selected a phrase like selected like offer equal exact phrase, for instance, Moshe Cohen, the user expect us as a system to retrieve data where in the field author there is Moshe Cohen and only Moshe Cohen. So if there is a record with author named Moshe Cohen Levi, we don't with the equal exact phrase, we are not going to retrieve that. Now in the next two slides, I'm going to give a lot of example and better explain for you how does it works and also compare it to the way your existing equals were. But just let a bit order before. So we used to have in the advanced search operator which called is exact. Now we're changing this name to be contain exact phrase. As to better implicit what actually this operator is doing. And we are going to introduce a new equal exact phrase. As you can see, you can enable it. Now, if you choose to enable it, you need to know this new equal exact phrase is being supported only for the free fields, title, offer, and subject fields. And we build and index this title, creator, and subject field in a way that they will support equal and exact phrase, both for CDI, when searching CDI, and when searching the Primo VE searches, okay? Those are the fields that this is being supported. And now I would like to take you into a table where there much more explanation between how this contain exact phrase works and what the new equal and exact phrase is expected to work. Okay, so let's go over that explanation, and after that I will do a demo. Let's say that you are using in the advanced search and you are searching for the offer Karen Stefan with a comma or without a comma. Now, if you use the contain exact phrase, which is the is exact that exists today, the results that were retrieved also include Karen Stefan with the ears, as you can see, and they also include results with Karen Stefan B, which is initial for middle name of Karen Stefan, and not necessarily this is the same offer. So this is as work today. You see, it's contain exact phrase. The Karen Stefan as a phrase is exist, but we retrieved results that also contain a prefix or suffix to that. And now, with this new equal and exact phrase, we will only retrieve results where Karen Stefan is specified. Now, another example. If we are changing the order and we are looking for Stefan Kern, if you are using the contain exact phrase, we will get the same results as when we search for Kern Stefan. And this is why this contain exact phrase was also doing some logic to the search query. And the way that it works, if those exact terms exist, the results were retrieved the same. But in the new equal and exact phrase, we are not manipulating and doing anything with the order. So we will retrieve only records that in their offer index file were mentioned specifically Stefan Kern. So this is important to understand. If you will search for Joe Biden, you will get only records that were indexed as Joe Biden. We will not retrieve Joseph Biden or Joe Biden with R. No any logic, just exactly as the user search. And also, we are not supporting the changing of the order. This is important to note and to set an expectation. Let's move on to another example. If you are searching for the subject criminal law, with this contain exact phrase, we also retrieve results for criminal law history, or you can see all of these suffixes that were added. But if we will use the equal exact phrase, we will only retrieve results that include criminal law, just it is. Same goes when searching the title. If I will search for that title, okay, if I'll search for that title with the contain exact phrase, I'm also getting this prefix. And with the equal exact phrase, I will get only that. It will be more clear with the example of searching by journal title. If I search for journal neurophysiology, I also get with the contain exact phrase articles that have this prefix looking into the future of this journal of neurophysiology. And with the equal exact phrase, I'm only get the real journal's name, title. One more example before going into demo. If I'll search for pet, we also consider this the and defined and indefined leadings words. We also include this the pet. So also in the equal exact pet, we will retrieve results like pet and the pet. But we will not include results, as you can see, of a journal of exotic pet medicine, for instance. Okay, so here I try to explain what are the expectations and how should it work. I would like to better simplify that and then let's go into the demo. So what we try to attempt with this enhancement is to make the search query when using the equal exact phrase as simple as it is, and to try to match to what the user really asks for. We are not doing any search engine expansions. We are not triggering any smartness of the search engines like inflection, like synonyms, like using third parties for special languages like Melingo for the Hebrew search engine or CJK for the Japanese and Korean. We are building a simple search query. This is one thing to note. And while you will test this feature, I would like to note that sometimes the matches, as seen in the brief results, you will ask yourself, hey, why was it retrieved or not? And we would like to know too that the display fields may vary from the way things are being indexed. So we are doing the match against the search fields that are being indexed. And display fields may be varied as you choose to add additional. Like for offer, you may sometimes have in the display fields also the years of the offers, but while searching, we're searching only for the name of the offer. So this is something that's important to note. And before also, the advanced, the equal exact phrase is not only meant to use in the advanced search, you can also enable it for the hypertext linking in the full display, and I will demo. And then after that, I will explain the note that I had here on the subject. So let's have a demo. Okay. So we will start the demo with searching for the journal title, Journal of Neurophysiology. Okay, let's see. Hope that's the QA server. I hope that everything is okay. Let's see. Let's see if I have it. Let's see if this is working. I hope that this environment is good to go. Yeah, okay, great. Sorry for that. Okay, so we are starting with searching for title, contain exact phrase of journal neurophysiology. What I like to mention here is that you see using this contain exact phrase, the results are being retrieved not only for that journal, but also for articles that have this prefix. This is the meaning of contain exact phrase. The phrase exists, but also additional terms are exist in the same title field. And this is why the results were retrieved, because it's act like contain exact phrase. As you can see, this is the amount of result that we are getting. Now, if we switch and use equal exact phrase instead, we will get exactly the Journal of Neurophysiology. And this is actually, as I understand, what the community really wants. I'm searching for that. I know the title of the journal. This is what I expect to get. Note here that the display title contain Onslow the online. And we did retrieve this record. We did retrieve it because probably the title is being indexed without it. So this is why I note sometimes the display may be varied from the way it's been searched. So note and understand now why the reason that it's been retrieved. Anyhow, you can see the difference between the way the contain exact, equal exact phrase work as opposed to the equal exact phrase. Now, when I'm selecting equal exact phrase and I go ahead and have this, you can see, I can see here only those fields that is being supported, and you choose to map the equal exact phrase to. So it's title, offer, and creator. Let's go and now have a demo with the offer. So I would like to take the offer that we talked about, this Karen Stefan now, and I will do a first contain exact phrase. Let's do that. So you can see I got 78 results, where Karen Stefan also results retrieved with this offer and these fields, these years. and I'm also getting results of Karen Stefan B. Okay? And now, if I go ahead and I will switch and change the equal exact phrase to Karen Stefan, I will get here 56 results. And most of them, all of them will be only with this Karen Stefan, as you can see. Okay, now let's change the order. If I'm changing the order of Karen Stefan, using the equal exact phrase, I'm getting really less results. I'm getting 16 results, and probably these results were retrieved because there is a title index where this is the order that is being indexed. As I believe also these book chapters in their offer, with two variation to the way it's being indexed, either as Kern Stefan and Stefan Kern. Probably this is the reason this is being retrieved. And you can see here an example for author, it's been retrieved like that. So I'd like you to know that different. If I'm switching to contain exact phrase, you can see that I will get the same 70 results that I have there before, because it's work differently, the contain and the equals. Okay, let's now take an example with the subject. I'm going to choose the subject and I'm going to search for criminal law. If I search for criminal law, I can see, go ahead and I can text in the subject facet that results were retrieved also for criminal law, but also probably for, you can see criminal law, international or French history, and or criminal law in the Great Britain. So I got more results, and that not only include only criminal law. But if I go ahead and change it to equals exact phrase, and I will set that, I will see much less results for that. And if I'm checking this subject, I will see that those criminal law with the prefixes not necessarily appear. So I have this criminal law, and it does not include all of the option with the criminal law that we got before. And if I get this one, like criminal law periodically, and I got to that just to check, I will be able to see that probably I have them both criminal law here and also criminal law Germany. So this is the reason that was retrieved. So this was about checking how the subject works. Let's go ahead and check again the title, and then I will do a demo. And then I will do a demo for the hypertext linking. Okay, you can see that I'm searching for title of lesson from a life with cat, and I get only that review that is the system can know how to access. If I go ahead and do this contains, I will get additional one, as this with also things with the prefix. So this is to learn about the different. Now, as you said, we can use the equal exact phrase not only here in the advanced search, while we can use it also for the hypertext linking in the full display. You can choose to activate it also there, and you need to be familiar with the way the hypertext linking is being configurable. So I try to explain. So I'm searching for North American literature, for instance, and I will go into the first book just to learn, and I can see now, going into the full display, that I have in the details option to go ahead and learn more about the creator. And there is this hypertext linking for this creator. So you can see that the display, the creator name is Morley Catherine, and we also display the year of that she was born, and her role as the editor. Now, if I click here, you can choose to have that this link will navigate to the advanced search with creator equal exact phrase. And you also need to be familiar that with this hypertext linking, I have also the parameter, we call it the $Q, the query. You can, we set the query to be only the offer name and not necessarily the other display name. So I'm clicking on this name of the creator. It can lead me to the offer equal exact phrase for that creator. So it's a bit different. It's that the display from the full display was different, but the query was for that offer. And now you can better use and find material by an offer. Note that if you choose to enable this equal and exact phrase, it can bring you results either from CDI or depend of the scope that you are using, or from Primo VE. And we used to solve things with offer facet, as here, if you choose to have that, you don't need this previously optimization for the offer facet. This works better with more exact ways. So this is an example of using the hypertext linking, example of using for the creator. You can choose to enable it also for fields like you can see here, the series, a related title. You can choose here if this record is part of the series, so I can click, you can choose it also to have it as here, and then you will find title equal exact and get the same thing that you want. So it's also something to note. And another thing is it's also for subject. You can choose to have it for subject as well. Okay, sorry. And for subject, I have to say, this comment, in order to provide a hypertext linking for subject and to better match the query, we did change normalization rules of those 666 subjects in those fields in order to better manipulate the $Q, the search query that is used when clicking the hypertext linking. And this change was done to the normalization rule will come into effect only after there is a starting of May, the ALMA repository indexing. It's happened between May and July on all our cloud. So if you choose to enable the subject hypertext linking, just be aware that we recommend to use it after July, after we know that the indexing is being completed. So you can use it, but better check. So if you want to test, of course, while you are testing things on your sandbox, make sure that the records that are using this subject are being indexed. You trigger and saved for them, and then you will better test it. But for your productions, better to for the subject hypertext linking to refer it to July. So it's important for me to note that. Okay. Okay, next is the My Library card. We are now giving an option to view not only active finds by default, but if user have also close find or finds that are in transferred, or they will be able to see all kind of finds, filtered, and also to filter by. You can see here user the close find or find in dispute or an active one. These filters is being built per the current finds and the fees. So if user don't have any close find, we won't see that. So it's per the data that the current find that a user has. We are building dynamically the filters. This is something to note. This is also something to note is while we are sharing and letting the user know what are the finds, we are also calculating the finds balance. And there is an option in ALMA, there is a parameter in ALMA where the find balance can include not only active finds, but also finds that are in status in transferred. So if that happened, as you can see, if currently the finds balance is set to 19, but when I'm viewing the active find, I have these 7 and 3. In total, we have like 10. So we are noting the user that note there are additional fines in the other status in the transferred fines. So this is why it's been calculated here as 19. It's not only the active fines, but also fines that appear in other stat. And this should be more clear to the user how this is being calculated now with the ability to filter by other fine status. So this is relevant for Primo VE in my release, and it's coming from the IDE as well. Okay, more about resource recommender. There are institutions that are having a mass use of resource recommender. We saw example of a customer that are loading and importing like more than 19,000 records into resource recommender. And with the existing management, it was very hard to maintain. There was no pagination, and the import takes very long and freeze the page. So in order to do to help you with the usability and better manage them, what we did, we added a pagination to the resource recommender. As you can see here, we added a pagination for easy navigation. We also improved the imports. We said if you are loading and importing more than Excel with like more than 500 entries, then the upload, the import file will be in a job in the background. We will not freeze the screen, and you will be notified when the job is entered. So it's a better usability. So this is one improvement to the resource recommender done in my release. I'm sharing that in August release, we're also improving the matching in Primo VE for resource recommenders, some capabilities that already exist for Primo backoffice. We are going to deliver it for Primo VE as well. More about CDI searches. Now we know that users are searching sometime for non-item search using a copy paste of citation format, so they can take a citation format and paste it to the search bar, expect the article to be found because they gave the exact citation for that. Now we are using a Groby, the third party, which is know how to model citation template, and we can also learn it, help him learn the template, and this smartness of understanding the citation format can help us build a better matching, a better query to better match the articles based on that. So this is already available in production, starting of, I think, from March really, so April, it was available through CDI searches. Okay, I think that we cover almost everything, a few more updates. We'd like to share with you, we've conducted an external audit during December and January. We got a list of issues to fix, and we've updated the CKC a new VPAT. We will also update soon over there the roadmap, which is based on the input that we got from this external audit. You can also find in the May release notes a list of issues that were fixed for accessibilities that are coming for this external audit, and you will see it during the year. Another thing is you will see there are some customers that wanted to have API to get Primo Analytics. This is something that exists in Primo backoffice. We are now delivering in Primo VE. You can see here in the link that I put explanation how it works. So the API, you can specify the report that you want, and you will get in the format of XML the report. So you can use it as well. More updates about quick links. We are increasing the mass of quick links in our system, working with more providers. You can see the list. Now we have 34 providers to work with. The linking success rate is 99%. And you can see this amount of records and collections that we are working on that. So you're welcome to examine it. Okay. And about this, what's coming in August release, you can see that we are expecting to have in the Primo Analytics usage for the collection discovery, so you can see usage per collection. We would like to introduce also a new carousel widget, so help you to market content from the library, a widget that will help you embed in other sites, in faculty sites or university sites, relevant resource from the library. This is in Primo VE. In Primo VE, we will also have this link data person info card. Actually, we work very hard to have it in my release, but in the last moment, we've decided to delay to better check many aspects such as performance and all of that. So this will be coming August release. The ones that will be at Luna will probably see a demo in the link data session, a live demo for that. Expect to see it. In Primo VE, we also going to improve the way list of versions are being look like, option to highlight the records that user click and came from. In the area of dedupe and Ferber, you can also give you the flexibility to include keys that are based on local fields and not only out-of-the-box keys that we are delivering. As I mentioned, enriching the resource recommender matching. And also the top idea that we are going to deliver it as well, display item policy in the get it. If you are using the item policy as a persist attribute, you will have a configuration where you can define to show the item policy as well in the get it for the item. Okay. About community engagement, we would like to note you that there is an upcoming webinar next week in the area of the DEI, diversity and inclusions by design. So you are welcome to go ahead and join that. And in addition, of course, there is Iluna that is coming in May 9. Unfortunately, I won't be there, but Israel and Christine will be there. There are really nice session that we are building over there. The Primo product updates, also a session like the next experience. Please, you are welcome to join. There are really nice things that I would like to share with you. You also have the Igloo for September, and we are really excited for that. And I think that with that, we can switch into the questions. Quote, if you are on the line.
I'm on the line. Let's go through the questions. We'll try to get through as many as possible. First question is, does the resource, oh, no, somebody said that they answered that question. Can newspaper articles be included in resource types filter bar when NP search is in use? That is with the terms search sent to NP search and not just opening the NP search landing page.
I'm not sure. I need to check. I'm not sure about this newspaper as this dedicated newspaper. I need to check that. I know the databases not necessarily can be there, or I mean mistake. I will need to check that. I will write to me.
Okay, next question is how filter options correlate to search scopes?
You will be able to map for each resource type which scope to enable there. You can have it all, or you can exclude a scope from that.
Okay, next question is, can you have both resource type filters and pre-search filters under your search box on Primo?
No, it's either that. We are not supporting both of them, and we are not thinking that it's really a nice user experience. No, it's under the same page. It's either that or that.
Okay, next question is there any plan to add the automatically extend my session option for staff users in Alma? It would be most welcome there.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I get the automatically expand my session to Alma.
Yeah, I think that's more of an Alma question as opposed to a Primo question, so it's probably outside the scope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next question is, will we be able to change or affect the mapping for databases?
So for database, I meant here, I'm not sure if you will be able to map the mapping for database. So this is the exception that I remember for databases. Yeah, you won't be able to do that.
Can you address how the customization of system resource types can be implemented in a consortia, IZ, NZ environment? Can work be done for individual IZ only, or would the same customizations need to be applied across the consortia because of the use of NZ records?
So I think that the way it works, it's we will run the rule of the NZ. So if a record is considered to be an NZ record, we will run only custom mapping that were done for NZ records. It will not include custom mapping for IZ. And so if the record is owned by the IZ, you will have a mapping for the IZ, and those mapping will run. We will not run NZ mapping for the IZ. This is something that you need to understand. So you can go ahead into the NZ record and have your own mapping over there. And it will affect the mapping on the order of the rules that we will run will be by the owner of the mapping. So the list of rules that we will run is only the one that were defined in the NZ level, not related to the IZ level. So it's really the same as, for instance, local resource type mechanism is working. If you have local resource type rules different from in IZ and the NZ, we are running rules only by the owner of the records. If the record is NZ, NZ rules will run over there. If the record is IZ, and IZ rules will run over there.
Okay, another question is, does fine plus fee status filter combine fines from different institutions in a consortium?
I think that it's referred to the institution. Actually, we are using the Alma API for the fines. I think this is a question that I need to check.
Okay, next question is, and I'm trying to get through as many questions as fast as possible, so if I'm speaking fast, my apologies. Okay, can you turn off the following features? If so, how? Resource type filters under the search bar, equals exact phrase.
Yeah, first, they are not coming out of the box. You want those features, you need to enable them. You're welcome to test them in the sandbox. Okay, so we're not delivering anything here out of the box. You can go ahead, examine the resource type filter and then choose to enable them. The configuration to enable and disable are simple. When you enable, you also need to list the resource type that you would like. And also for the advanced search, you can choose to have the equal exact phrase work only for author, for instance. You don't have to activate it for title or for subject. It's up to you. When you are activating the equal exact phrase, you need to consider the configuration in the advanced search, but you also need to learn a bit about the configuration that you currently have for the hypertext linking definition. It may confuse, but we try to make it simple and have a checkbox, but you need also to be familiar with what we have in the hypertext linking as well.
Okay, next question is, will the details of the norm rules changes to subject be documented before July?
Yeah, we will document we will document these changes as well. Yeah.
Okay, another question related to that is that when does Q3 2023 start? Is it July?
What was the question with the two?
I'm sure that you probably identified the fact that something was going to be released in Q3 2023. They want to know when that starts.
2, 3. I believe that they mentioned maybe the annual semi-annual repository that I mentioned. Like I said, subject equals exact phrase. Hypertext linking will be available, fully available, well, with the changes of the semi-annual indexing, but I'm not sure I got the question. Please email me.
Okay. Next question, and just so you know, is that Q3 means different things to different people. So when
Q3,
we
the third quarter. Sorry.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, you know what? We will say May, August. We'll stop the Q. Okay, sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm gonna get one more question. And then again, I'm sorry we can't get to all the questions. There are a lot of questions that are coming in. Q3 September. No, it's another one. Okay, so people are answering your question.
Yeah, Q3 is
Okay.
August.
Yep.
Yeah.
So can you address the customization of system resource types that can be implemented in a consortia? Wait, I asked that question. My apologies. For the 6xx normalization rule changes, will these be visible in the display file normalizations we can edit? We have made very extensive changes to the out-of-the-box rules for these. Will we need to adjust them?
Oh, I need to check that. They will sure be documented. I think that, yeah, they will be available, yeah.
Okay. And then I'll get one more in. For Grobid enhancement of citations, does that work on all scopes that include CDI data or a scope that is the CDI?
It's mainly for CDI searches, and I think also to have a scope also for the local searches. We'll start, we need to do more work in order to do the matching. It's currently for CDI.